Hi, I'd like to introduce the handlebar adjuster I've made for the WattBike Atom. It replaces the existing Allen bolt that comes with the Atom and puts in its place something with a large, sturdy, easy to use handle that you don't need tools to operate. Using the adjuster, change your handlebar positions is easy. Single-handed, you can loosen the tension off, slide the handlebars to a new position, and then slightly taking the weight of the aero bars up. With the other hand, you can lock the bars into position. You don't need to do it too tight, just enough to make sure the handlebars are really solid, which they are. And again, switching back to the other position is just as straightforward. Loosen it off, slide to your other position, slightly taking the weight with one hand until it's tight. And it's that easy. This is a really good accessory for people who have to share their WattBike Atom with others, so couples, housemates, that kind of thing, or anyone who finds themselves regularly needing to change the handlebar position on their Atom. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to install the handlebar adjuster. The first thing you need to do is take an Allen key and just loosen off the existing Allen bolt as much as you can. It won't come out, but you'll just lift it up as high as possible. Next, take a note what height your handlebars are at, so that you can restore it to that later. Loosen the handlebars and lift them up. You might even want to take them completely off the bike. The reason we're lifting them is we want access to the Allen bolts that hold this assembly together. There's two, there's one here, and there's also one in the middle at the front. You're going to want to use an Allen key and get it in there, and in all three positions, and loosen them off. You only need to loosen it enough just to raise this top portion of the headset assembly so that you can slide forward the red piece. So once you've done that, you can tighten these back up, again using an Allen key, all three positions. The one thing I would say, when you're loosening and when you're tightening these three bolts, is to take your time about it. They're hard to get to, they're done up really tight, so that it will be easy to damage them if you rushed it. So I'd just take your time over that. Once you tighten them back up and this top piece is back on tight, you can drop the whole handlebar assembly back down to your usual riding position, and we can look at what we're left with. So we've managed to separate now this red piece with the existing Allen bolting from the rest of the handlebars. Sitting on top of the handlebars, you'll see there's this sort of silvery button with a lip on it. That you want to keep, that's very important. That sits in a little hole on the handlebars, and we want to definitely keep that. The existing Allen bolt in the red piece you want to remove. You just go as if you were tightening that up with a hand underneath to catch it, and it will drop all the way out. You can see now why we weren't able to bring that out from the top, because it's got this little lip on it which stops it coming out the top. So we'll take it out the bottom. Next up, we can take the contents of our handlebar adjuster kit. There's a large M10 bolt, a large M10 nut. The bolt just slides through the handle assembly and is held in place by tightening the nut on the bottom. Like that. Once it's finger tight, you want to take a spanner, adjustable spanner is fine, and just tighten it up so that it's as tight as you can go. So that's nice and well on. We can now slide the red piece into position and rotate the handle into place. Before we go about tensioning this all up, you might find that when moving your handlebars backwards and forwards isn't as smooth as you'd like. So this is a good opportunity just to kind of get in there with a little bit of grease and just put it along some of these horizontal surfaces, top and bottom, and front and back. You can even just use Vaseline or a good quality bike lube. I mean, it doesn't need to be, it's not going to be exposed to the elements, just something that's going to help it slide more cleanly backwards and forwards. Okay, so once we're happy with that, we're going to go through the process of first ever tightening of this up. You want to lower it down and just make sure that the front of the over bars is supported, and just carefully, just a small fraction of a turn at a time, start tightening it up, just feeling for any sort of play in the handlebars. Now, you're not going to be able to remove the play that's in the rest of the assembly, sort of any sort of flex that's actually in this vertical piece or anything like that, but you're just looking for anything that if you were really pushing on the bars you would feel it move. So just keep tightening till that goes away. So that's good for me. That's all pretty solid, so yeah, I can get on there and I could really hammer at that and I'd be happy. Once you're happy with the tension, I'd recommend that this is the point to add the sticker that comes in the kit. This serves a couple of purposes. First of all, it makes it look a bit tidier. You can't see the nut and the bolt. Also, it has a small inspiring message, go, 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 to help you push on as you're working through your intervals. But the main reason for this is as an indicator for when to help you quickly get back to this tension. So now, every time I loosen it off, move it to another position and tighten it up, I know I've got the tension right when that message is in line with the top tube. Cool. So yeah, so installation is that simple, and now we're able to move this around as easily as we want. We're all good to go. Cool. Just a couple of tips, maybe a bit of health and safety. When adjusting it, it's designed so that there should be a bit of room between the handle and the fixings for the aero bar, but still I've tried to keep my fingers away from these areas here, because it's going to bruise, or worse if you get a finger caught there. It's much easier to operate it on these surfaces, or just keep your fingers completely on the top. So just be warned of that. The other thing I'd say is it really doesn't take a lot to go from loose to completely tight. Maybe even just a quarter of a turn's enough. You can, because it's got such a large area and you can get quite a lot of purchase on it, really good grip and quite a lot of leverage. It is easy to really over tighten this, but you don't need to, and it will work better if you don't. And also, if you are sharing your atom with someone who's maybe not as strong as you, you're not doing them any favours by really tightening this up. So it's designed so that anyone can just operate it and get it tight enough without needing any sort of upper body strength to achieve this.